In the last 30 days, Iman Gadzhi has gained over 1 million followers and 200 million views across all of his platforms. And this is whilst only posting twice on Instagram and uploading 7 videos to his main YouTube channel. So how's he done this? Are they fake followers? Is he using giveaways? Is he running a bunch of ads? Does he have some sort of special trick?
Are you aware that you were forbidden to use magic outside school?
Has he hacked the algorithm and knows someone on the inside? Well, yes and no. Let me break it down. Now, this strategy that Iman has followed is something that he seems to have constructed years in advance and is just starting to roll out now that everyone is starting to see, and it's a work of art. However, a lot of people see social media on a very surface level. They look at how often per day someone is posting, are they using reels, what headlines are they using, what hashtags are they using, but when it comes to growth, it's often a lot more holistic and deeper than that itself. And often the best strategies are the ones that you don't even notice unless you dig a bit deeper, which is very much the case with Iman. But firstly, who is this guy? Well, he's a 22-year-old entrepreneur born in Russia, raised in London, who dropped out of high school when he was 17.
Personally, for me, school isn't important.
5 years ago to start building businesses online.
For the next 5 years of my life, I'm gonna do this.
Long story short, he's built multiple businesses across multiple industries, invested a bunch of the profits into crypto, which puts his net worth at close to $25 million, according to himself. Very impressive for 22. I believe he's literally like 2 weeks younger than me, which is crazy. Let's dive into the strategy, which has gained him hundreds of millions of views in the past 30 days. His magic formula that gets these results can be broken down into 3 core parts, all of which tie together, and one would not work without the other. So make sure you stick around until the end to get the full story. And like I said at the start, this all seems to have been planned out years in advance, and we're just starting to see it roll out now. So it'll be very fascinating to see where this goes. Now, one of the keys to his explosive growth across social media has been his distribution strategy. But before you can look into distribution, you need to produce something worth distributing. So first, back in December of 2021, almost a year ago, he posted on his Instagram story that he was looking to take his YouTube game to the next level and wanted to hire a few experts to do so. Before he could focus on growth, he needed to perfect his content, so when he did gain exposure, did get in front of new people, and they saw his stuff, they stuck around, they consumed it, they followed, they engaged, and that would help him reach even more people. He went ahead and hired a full-time YouTube strategist, multiple editors, and multiple thumbnail designers. Now, I didn't take a screenshot at the time, I just remember him posting for these positions. And this was an indication at the time that he was about to take YouTube very seriously. Now, he had done well on the past in YouTube. He by no means had a small channel. His subscriber count was sitting at 170,000 subscribers, although he was only growing at about 1,000 subs per month for all of 2021, which is probably similar to what I'm doing right now, but a lot lower than what you would expect for that size. Now, you can clearly see the uplift in quality on his channel from the moment that he brought in this new strategy and new team. His entire focus shifted towards 2 key questions. Number 1 is, how can I get more people to click on my videos? And number 2 is, how can I keep those people engaged for longer? Increasing click-through rate was simple. His thumbnails became considerably more enticing and clickable. I'll throw out some examples of his old thumbnails and then a few examples of his new ones, and you can very clearly see the difference. The old ones were good, the new ones were the best in the industry, which naturally is going to help you grow much faster. Then what he did is he had these same thumbnail designers that he'd hired go back and create new, highly captivating thumbnails for older videos that had previously performed well. Because if a video does well and then it stops getting views on YouTube, but you know it's a good video and you throw a new thumbnail on it, it can get pushed out again and almost get a second big boost out to new people. If it performs well, gets a ton of views. So you can see some videos that are from 2021 or 2020 will have these really high quality thumbnails on them, similar to his newer videos, because he has gone back and changed them. Now, click-through rates also depend massively on titles. So he shifted from titles like how to use ClickFunnels step-by-step 2021 tutorial and guide better clients that pay more and come to you, to more broader topics that would be interesting to a wider group of people, written in a way that grabs a ton of attention, such as how to take back control over your life, monk mode, best online businesses to start as a beginner, 8 money tips tips for teenagers to become millionaires, 17 side hustles you can start during the 2022 recession, then more recently, the economy is about to crash, do this now. On top of this, his video production skyrocketed. He became smoother on camera, there was more value in his videos, the editing went up many levels, and I imagine this significantly increased the watch time. So a spike in click-through rate from better titles and thumbnails, plus a broader appeal in your content, whilst also increasing your watch time to a broader audience of people, is naturally going to explode your growth. But that's only the foundation of what got Iman results and not the whole story. Simply improving your content doesn't take you from 1,000 subscribers per month to gaining 1 million followers in 30 days. There's a bit more to it, so let's get into it. Now, once Iman had a strong foundation of content in place, it was time for him to move on to the second phase. And that second phase I like to call other people's audiences. See, one of the most effective ways that you can grow your audience online is to find where your audience is, who they follow, who they know, like, and trust, and then find a way to get in front of that audience with the seal of approval from that creator. Now, you could do this for free by simply commenting on their videos, replying to their posts on Instagram, jumping into the TikTok comment section, LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever. You could pay for sponsorships and videos, or you could find a way to collaborate with these creators. Now, Iman's target audience is mostly young people, teens or people in their early 20s who are looking to improve themselves and build a business. So he identified which creators already had big YouTube channels and podcasts that had massive amounts of loyal fans, and then he went about collaborating with them. So they would naturally promote Iman to their audience, give him the seal of approval, give him a platform to share his message, share his story, share some value, and through doing so, his channel would blow up. Now, before we dive into who he worked with, the fact he went down the route of targeting YouTubers and podcasters over Twitter influencers, TikTokers, and Instagrammers is also worth mentioning. See, the beauty of long-form content like YouTube and podcasts is you can build a ton of trust. You get to share more, you get to put more of your personality into it, you don't cut out anything, and people can really get to know you because they're literally sitting there listening to you on a podcast speak for 1, 2, 3 hours, which means not only do these subscribers of this podcast or YouTube channel really trust the host because they've listened to hours and hours and hours of their content, maybe tens of hours of their content, but when you get on there, you get to speak to these people, this audience, for hours. So the relationship becomes much deeper, and when these people find you and then come across to your YouTube channel, your Instagram, your TikTok, whatever it might be, they already have a strong connection with you. This is why he gets ridiculous engagement on his Instagram, because the people who follow him on Instagram already have a very powerful connection to him because of the long form. This means hundreds of thousands of people listen to Iman on a podcast endorsed by someone they know, like, and trust, and then he can gain thousands or tens of thousands of really loyal fans per show. Powerful strategy. So how did this play out? First, he flew out Hamza in March, a YouTuber from the UK who had a cult-like following of over 330,000 subscribers at the time. Iman filmed a bunch of videos for Hamza's channel, which got millions of views collectively and likely gained tens of thousands of subscribers, maybe even more, for Iman. Once he saw the success of this collaboration, he went all in. He flew out a YouTuber, Jordan Welch, to London to create a 10-minute Netflix-style YouTube video, which also got over 1 million views. Another YouTuber, Sebastian Georgiou, flew out to London to create an 80-minute podcast that was posted on YouTube, which currently sits at just over 500,000 views. He even went on the YouTube channel of a controversial and super viral but now banned creator, Sneeko. Now, after he went on 4 of the biggest YouTube channels with an audience of young entrepreneurs in the space, he started hitting up the podcast scene. He went on the podcasts of Mark Tilbury, The British Entrepreneur, Frankie Lee, Matt Kelly, Danny Miranda, The Associates Podcast, The Simplify Podcast, Phil Reed, Mo Vlogs, and Arlen, just to name a few. Collectively racking up millions of views on YouTube alone and likely millions more on the actual podcast platforms themselves. Bear in mind, this is millions of views on content that is an hour, 2 hours long, so extremely valuable. Now, some of you may be wondering how you can get on so many podcasts and YouTube channels to grow your own audience. And you can do the same on Instagram pages, TikToks, whatever. And the secret is to always make sure it is of benefit to the host to actually have you on. So many times nowadays people are focused on what they get. I'll get a ton of people reach out to me for collaborations. They've got 500 followers, they don't really have much of a skill set, and they're trying to get a collaboration when you're not really bringing anything to the table. However, Iman is a smart guy. He is always focused on how he can make it beneficial for the other person, so they really want to have him on the show, and then he benefits from that. What he would do is he would fly out a YouTuber to Dubai or to London in business class, put them up in a nice place, take them out for nice dinners, go to nice spots in the city, often buy them a gift and show them a really good time. For example, when he was in Dubai, he flew out Hamza from the UK to Dubai. When he was in London, he flew out Jordan and Sebastian from America over to London in business class, gave them a really good time. Now, this definitely wouldn't have been cheap. Business class flights from America to London or London to Dubai is going to set you back a good few $1,000s. You add in a nice hotel, a fancy dinner, nice gifts. Even giving them his time is probably worth thousands of dollars alone. So it very easily comes to over $10,000 per person he's working with. But think about it, if you could spend $10,000 to give a YouTuber like Hamza, who has got an incredible cult-like audience, a great experience, and in return, he would create multiple pieces of content about you and likely reference you from time to time in his YouTube videos and his Instagram, if he's on podcasts, etc., because of how good of a time you showed him. You create an impression in his mind. All of that for just $10,000. It doesn't take much business smarts on the back end to be able to make an incredible return on that. Considering Iman has a course which he charges $2,000 for, he has a software company which has a $100 and $300 per month plan. It only takes a very, very small percentage of a percentage of a percentage of the millions of people who watched Hamza's videos to come and purchase those products for him to make a massive return, whilst also gaining a big audience and a strong connection with an influential person. On top of spending all this money on creators to promote him, because he has an elusive persona and is very successful at a young age, it is also very beneficial for these creators to have him on their podcast or on their YouTube channel, because this helps spike the amount of views that the podcast or the YouTuber gets, which allows them to make a lot more revenue through AdSense, affiliate links, sponsorships, their own businesses, and just grows their podcasts in general. It'll also probably help them get better guests on when they can say that they've had Iman on, because on every single one of these podcasts that I mentioned, with the exception of Mo Vlogs and the British Entrepreneur, Iman Gadzhi's episode was the most watched one on YouTube for every single show. So it's an absolute no-brainer to get him on the show. Even if these creators had to pay to fly out to them, they would, let alone him sending them to him in business class with a great experience. And as a side note, the only interview that bet him on the British Entrepreneur was one with KSI, who is arguably the biggest creator in the UK of all time, and the one that bet him on the Mo Vlogs channel was literally with Mo Vlogs, who again has got like 5 or 10 million subscribers on YouTube, massive creator, and is the host. So he made sure it was of massive value to get him on the podcast and incentivize creators to work with him, collaborate him, create content about him, talk about him, interview him, and promote him. And in return, he would gain millions of followers and tens of millions of dollars in the process. So Iman, or your assistant Amara, if you're watching this, my passport is valid. Happy to get into a business class seat to Dubai and get you on the channel to share your wisdom. Although I believe that phase of his plan is over. I haven't seen him on any podcasts or YouTube channels recently, because he's then moved on to the third phase, which nicely segments us in this video to talking about it. But before we do that, I want to show you something quickly. If we look at his stats across Instagram and YouTube, we can see each time he stacked a new strategy on top of it, his reach, his growth, all of that went up a level. So at the time that he hired a YouTube strategist, expert, and thumbnail designer, he was receiving approximately 120,000 views per month and 1,000 subscribers on his channel. This hire took him to about 500,000 views per month and 15,000 subscribers within the space of about 60 days. So 2 months after making that hire, he'd gone 4 times increase in views, a 15 times increase in monthly subscribers from just improving his content significantly. He then went ahead and went on Hamza's channel, and his views went up to over 1 million views in a month for the first time ever. There was then a gap of a month or two before he started showing up on everyone else's podcasts, but when he did roll out this strategy, by mid-2022, he took his average views up to 1.5 to 3 million per month. and gaining 60,000 plus subscribers every single month. So the first phase took him from 1,000 subscribers a month to 15,000 subscribers a month. The second phase took him from 15,000 a month up to 60,000 a month. Now the third part of Iman's master plan is what took him from getting 3 million views and 80,000 subscribers on YouTube in August of 2022 to then taking his channel to getting 10 million views and 350,000 new subscribers in the month of October, only 2 months later. This is also the same strategy that allowed him to gain a total of 1 million followers and 200 million views in this month across other platforms. So let's dive into the final piece of the puzzle, distribution. Now, with a foundation of amazing content on his channel and now dozens of interviews across the top podcasts and YouTube creators driving traffic to his YouTube channel, it was now time to leverage all of this content and take his views up to another new level, which is where the short form content comes in, and you might have guessed this from the start. Iman once again went on a hiring spree, putting together a team of full-time editors to spend literally all day clipping up content from these podcasts, from his YouTube videos, from his old content even, and distributing it across short form platforms like YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. This was another massive benefit from the podcast. Not only do you get to reach their existing audience and you get the social proof of being given the seal of approval from the host, but it also gives you a massive amount of short form content which you can clip up and publish, all of which can go viral because usually they come out very good. So what he did is he set up an Instagram page called Iman Gadzhi Reels purely to post reels, of which in the past 30 days he's posted 171 times. He created 2 YouTube Shorts channels called The Best of Iman Gadzhi and Iman Gadzhi Moments, which each have posted 200 times in the past 30 days and pulled in 3 million views and 10 million views in the past month alone. Then most impressively, he set up a TikTok account called Real Iman Gadzhi, in which his team has posted a whopping 420 times in the last month and pulled in a ridiculous 616,000 new followers in 30 days. Now, this 616,000 followers in 30 days came after his content received 17 million likes that month on the platform. Now, sadly, Social Blade and TikTok don't tell you how many views someone has received on TikTok, but at the time of scripting this video, I took a look at his 5 most recent TikToks, and they all have an approximate 10% like to view ratio. So 10% of the people that viewed the content liked it, which means for that month, his content received approximately 170 million views in 30 days. Maybe it was marginally less, maybe marginally more, but that's a fair estimate. So by simply hiring a couple of people to spend all day clipping up content to make sure you've got 10 to 15 posts to make, and then publishing those across YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, and TikTok, he gained an additional 200 million views per month. From all of that traffic, he's then funneled it back to his YouTube channel. So on his TikTok, he's only links people to YouTube. On the YouTube channels that I believe he started, unless they were fan channels, he again links his main channel. Same on the Instagram account. He links both his main Instagram account as well as his YouTube. So he's generating all this attention from short form content, which doesn't build much trust, just grabs attention, and he's pushing people to the long form content, which does build trust, which does build rapport, which builds true fans. And because of this, he gained over 350,000 subscribers and 10 million views on his main channel in the last 30 days, whilst also gaining 90,000 Instagram followers in the same month, whilst, like I said at the start of the video, only making 2 Instagram posts. Ridiculous. Now, for the average creator or business owner, posting this quality of content at this scale with this volume is not going to be easy. It requires the right team, the right systems, and then the right monetization strategy on the back end to actually create a profit from this, so you can continue to pay the people within the system, as well as the tools, as well as the equipment, as well as the expenses that run with it, so you can actually fund it and make a profit. If you're a business owner that needs help with that, book a free discovery call with me down below, and we'll jump on the phone and see how we can help you absolutely crush it. Because whilst it might be hard, content marketing in 2022 has generated ridiculous results and in 2023 it's going to be even better. To summarize, here is the 3-step game plan Iman Gadzhi used to gain over 1 million followers and 200 million views in the past 30 days. First, he stepped up the quality of his content massively. Better topics, better charisma, better editors, better thumbnails. This is the foundation of all growth. If your content is not on point, no strategy will save you. Second, he focused on leveraging pre-existing audiences to grow rapidly. He made it massively valuable and appealing for YouTubers and podcasters to get him on his show, where he could then share his message in long-form content with tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people. Then third and finally, he put together a team of people to cut up all of his content and distribute it across YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, and TikTok. He was posting up to 15 times per day on these platforms, and his TikTok alone pulled in 616,000 new followers in the last 30 days. All of this awareness he then funneled back to his YouTube channel, which he can then funnel into his businesses to make a crazy profit. This is not a cheap thing to do by any means, but stick with me. Alex Hormozi, who posts similar levels of content, says he spends $70,000 per month on his content marketing team, systems, and content itself. However, Alex says it would take over $2 million per month in paid advertising to reach the same amount of people and get the same amount of growth for his business. Which means, in the eyes of Alex, paid advertising is 30 times more expensive than content marketing. Iman, at the time of recording, is pushing his $2,000 course. Then when people go through his course, build a successful agency, they need his software, which he charges $100 to $300 a month for. So his course will cover the cost of customer acquisition, development of his software products, as well as his lifestyle, and there's probably some profit left over to invest as well. All of this whilst his software company grows exponentially on the back end and skyrockets his net worth into the 9 figures. This is the exact same blueprint that Russell Brunson used with ClickFunnels and his courses. And it worked extremely well, and I know Iman from day one studied Russell and is implementing a similar strategy. Because if you can find a profitable way to acquire customers at scale for a software company, which you can then sell for a valuation of 10 times the annual recurring revenue, you can quickly build that up into the hundreds of millions of dollars, because customer acquisition is the trickiest part of software, which sells for a crazy high multiple compared to the likes of a course business. If you enjoyed this, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and let me know who you want me to study and create a video on next time.